Alright, alright, alright. Let's get some chess going. What do I want to start with? Probably a puzzle battle. Who wants to battle it out? Okay, we got a nice fair match. Oops, no slip. Oh, black to move. This one's tricky. I think he's also on it. Yeah, it forks the two. White to move, this looks good. What the heck? This one's also tricky. White to move. So here does nothing. Wow. But here works. Here. Okay, we might still be able to win this. Just gotta be very patient. Here. Deflect the knight, and then deliver the mate in two. White to move. Okay, this is not good. This, though. Okay. Black to move. This is interesting. Sacrificing the rook to deliver this fork. Is this just main one? Oh, I think here. Okay. Huh. Well, we get the win, a bit of a confidence boost. I think last night I lost a game or two, so back down to the upper tranches of 1800. Damn, girl. Let's get it going. E4. I'm anticipating E5. Or our E4 was simply no match for mate in 35. We would have gotten mate in 35. United Arab Emirates. 16-year-old account. E4, E5. Just as I thought it would be. Knight C6. Let's go knight C3. Okay, knight F3, knight F6, D4. The gateway to the 4 knights Scotch. That move, though, I'm not familiar with. Taking here, that's a pretty solid pawn cube. Pawn triangle. So, I'm going to do it anyways. h6 seems a bit slow, but I want to go here to prevent bishop g4, and now I can develop my bishop to f4. And do I want opposite side or same side castling? Let's look at the pros and cons. So queen e2, I mean, he gets that open b file lined up with my rook almost instantaneously. So for that reason, more logical approach is going to be to castle kingside. Play rook e2, queen d2, rook e1, I should say. I also kind of want to keep the queen on the d1, h5 diagonal just to prevent this knight from coming in there. Okay, so logically I want to start organizing my pieces towards the king side. I'm kind of bummed out that I have to trade bishops now because this bishop was exerting beautiful influence on that d3 to h7 diagonal. I could have at some point tried to create the double A battery. But I do like the idea of taking here, then allowing me to develop my queen to e2 with tempo because it subsequently hits the rook. And there's always the added bonus of him not noticing this move. So queen e2, rook a8, rook d1, creating an x-ray between the rooks and the queen. My rook and Dicus's queen. You always got to assume they're gonna notice every idea you create. And at 1900 he should. We're almost ready to play this move. Almost ready. Okay, but okay. I mean, we can still play this move. Well, let's examine the weaknesses in this position. This pawn is currently weak and a target. This pawn could be a target. I could also target the knight this way. Then I might allow this. Then I could also go here, trying to put a mate pressure. So let's play with the knight first. The reason I chose that over, say, queen c4 is because this move here automatically attacks a pawn. And I thought my queen having a central oligopoly would actually prove to be superior on the e file or d file than, say, on the c file. So, now, let's go here. Threatening mate in 1. Now, let's go here. Now, let's tuck the bishop back, just creating long-term influence over the A1 H8 diagonal. And I think I'm struggling to find a way how this move doesn't just totally crush and win a piece. Example, bishop moves, we win a rook. There's no way to defend. This bishop is bye-bye. And then, okay, so what is he even going to try to do? A4? Take. Here, say A3, check, take, check, here. Huh. I guess I did miss that move. Or did I? Okay, so we do get this move. Yeah, we got that move. And it's important that this rook is also defended by my bishop, dark squared bishop, so... Well, I don't mean to toot my own horn, but this was a masterclass in the four-night scotch. I mean, this position is dead resignable. Dead. What would I do if I was black? I might go here. I don't know. I don't see any good moves. A4, queen G5 just to try to give it a check if we somehow trade. Check here. And then try to create some kind of perpetual. Yeah. That's kind of exactly what I thought. But this actually eliminates the possibility of a check. So huh. Now we put our calculating heads back on. Here, let's say queen takes. Queen takes. Pawn takes. Checkmate. Okay, that's one possibility. It looks pretty sweet. The other possibility is sacrificing the queen first. Let's say pawn takes. Then we have bishop take. Yeah, this is crazy. I hope this works. It looks like it works. I just feel like I'm maturing as a chess player to find a tactic that beautiful. So, here, okay. Wait. This pawn, if I move my queen, this G pawn is pinned with the light squared bishop. the light squared bishop becomes the unsung hero of the position. When we moved it back all the way here, and I said it was exerting influence over these squares, it turned out that this is almost mate in one. Yeah, but I guess he does have queen h7, take, bishop. Yeah, okay. Well, let's go for it. I think... Which way do I want to do this? Do I want to go here first, here? Or do I want to go here, 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 here? I think this makes more sense. Because we can force a rook trade and go to a totally one endgame. This is a classic endgame idea of how to force a rook trade. I can even sacrifice my rook, but I don't have to. Let's do a quick game review. And reward myself with a chocolate. So very comfortable positioning entering the middle game. This structure, even though the pawns are even, it's much better for white, completely winning at a GM level. Finding that queen move, infiltrating the light square weaknesses. Very important concept. Yeah. Taking with this rook, creating this battery, this kebab, is obviously better than having the rook stack horizontally, or vertically I should say.
This move protects their pawn, which was vulnerable with insufficient defenders. Not the best move, but not bad either. You are now able to force eventual checkmate. They missed a chance to capture a free queen. Your opponent will be forced into checkmate if you find the right moves. That was the only move. You missed a better... That was the only move.
Wow, I missed that move?
This continues. That queen was free for the...
Double mate.
And the game is over.
I wish I could have found that.
Your opponent... Yeah. Well done, an excellent move. You want a pawn for free.
Must, like a Pavlovian dog, reward myself with chocolate for such exemplary play. Exceptional. Okay. Puzzle battle. I'm firing on all cylinders. maybe? Oops. Uh-oh. Back to move. Okay, I see it. This seems pretty elementary. This is like mate and one. Oh, black to move, still mate one. And here. Huh. Yeah, here. White to move. Wait, yeah, here. Here. Deflect the knight, then deliver mate and wand. Black to move. Why am I guessing it's here? Sacrifice the rook. Here perhaps. Then here, and then here. Same concept as last puzzle. Black to move. Here, 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 here. Yeah, that seems very basic. Sacrifice the rook. And let's try to get one more. White to move. I think it's here. Deflect the rook and go there. Yeah. I got the first one wrong too. One of the first ones. So let's play another 10-minute game. Then we'll do advanced Blanc-Crowd theory, Kramnik's double, whatever that means. $19 ago? Let's get a quick view of this. 100 games. Whatever. A bird's opening? I never play against the birds. I honestly don't even know the theory. Whatever. I'll give him a chance. Tunisia. Sort of feels super weird. What the heck? Kind of want to take here as soon as possible. Even though it helps his bishop. Yeah, I got a weird feeling about this. I think it's actually better to undermine this pawn chain immediately. From the top of the chain, not the bottom. Start by doing this. Yeah, So now we win this pawn. Okay. Start by going here. This is honestly messed up. Somehow we're up a pawn. Okay, let's see. Tempted to go here. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Finds a way to win it back. But I actually found something better. I think I win on the spot here. And by think I mean no, I win on the spot. This pawn's hanging, this bishop's lost. Now this is dead resignable. This is called the bird's defense, right? Yeah, we successfully thwarted the bird's opening. Now, I'm definitely taking this way, attacking this pawn and this pawn simultaneously. I want to get my rook to c8 next. Huh. Let's go here. It looks like this rook is just trapped in there. Oh, let's probably try to castle here. Castle and then rook f to d8. He blunders main one. Very unusual stuff. I think I'd probably play that to like 80% accuracy. 83. 2150. Opening 72. Just goes to show you how uncommon the bird's opening is. But I really made up for in the middle of the game. Let's go ahead. What? How is this possible? Here, 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 here. Okay. I guess that's a playable position, but I'd rather not start down a piece right at the opening. So I did this, attack the pawn chain. Probably eat another chocolate. Okay. How come? I think I have to pause periodically to give my feedback.
Hi everyone, it's Yoon Ludwig back with another video series, and this time we're going to be talking about the Bonk Cloud opening, an opening that is as bad as it is funny and infamous. Basically, the Bonk Cloud is any situation where you open up moving your king pawn and then follow it up on the very next move, moving your king up, stopping the diagonal for your queen, stopping the diagonal for your bishop, and losing the right to castle. A horrible opening, you would think.
So, Vladimir Kramnik, chess's most evil villain, played this Bonk Cloud? I find that hard to believe. He seems like an old school player. Let's see how this develops.
But actually, the theme of this video series is going to be studying situations where moving your king up in the opening is actually a good solution. Our first opening is going to be from the Slav defense. It starts out with the queen pawn moving 2 forward and black responding in kind. White plays the queen's gambit, trying to put pressure on that central pawn, which is defended by...
So, the queen's gambit. I've never played d4 in my life. Maybe 5 or 10 times out of 50,000 games, but I really want to try soon.
The black pawn. Now this is the Slav opening. White proceeds to get the knights out there, as does black, and afterwards, black plays the move e6 to make a really solid pyramid of the pawns defending each other, a magnificent pawn chain. White proceeds to go e3, opening up for the bishop to protect the pawn in case black chooses to capture it. Out with the knight from black, the queen moves to try and take control over the e4 square, and that's going to be crucial to this variation, because when black moves the bishop out, we move forward in the center, and white with 3 proud pawns up on the 4th rank is trying to command the battlefield at a very early stage. Black captures the white pawn, the knight captures back, and we get another capture of the knight, which provokes white's queen out on the board. Now, having the queen out early, that can be a good thing, the most powerful piece in the middle of the board, but it can also be a bad thing, because every time an opponent's piece threatens your queen, you're going to have to move her away because she's so valuable. If black just proceeds with normal play in this situation and castles, then white is able to develop the bishop, have both the bishop and queen pointing up towards the black king, and while black is able to stop this temporarily with the knight coming out, both attacking the queen and defending against the threat on the side, white then pushes the queen over to this h4 square where it keeps tabs towards black's king, and it's a situation that is quite unpleasant for black, which is why we need to move back to our position just as the white queen entered the middle, because black tries to strike back in the center with a move c5, trying to simply get rid of these aggressive white pawns, just as we did on the previous move. White responds by moving the bishop up, trying to attack the black queen. Now, if the black queen goes out for a check, then the bishop can step back, and it turns out white is more happy to get this bishop out 1 square than black is happy having to retreat the queen. As when the queen retreats, we can have the bishop pointing up towards the black king side, just as we had the queen pointing in that same direction. To prevent this idea, when we move back to the situation where white...
Interesting. So, the basic concept of this video is it's okay to move some pieces twice in the opening as long as you're reorganizing them for long-term harmonious piece arrangement.
Has just moved the bishop to attack the queen. Black parries the threat by moving the bishop in between. Now, after the exchange of bishop, here comes the Bon Cloud, and it just comes 2 at a time. We get 2 Bon Clouds for the price of 1. It starts out with the queen going out to give a check on white's king. In the previous variation we analyzed, we saw that white would defend against this by bringing the bishop.
I wonder where white should move this queen, because king e2 seems like the worst of the options. It's permanently blocking in the bishop, so queen d1 is the only other square. I don't see any drawbacks with that. So I think king d1 will be forced here.
Back. However, the bishop has now exchanged itself for the black counterpart, and the king no longer has this option. If we want to keep our right to castle, we're going to have to move the knight in between, when black is the one doing the Bon Cloud move, using the king to recapture the bishop.
Okay.
And this is actually a fairly nice situation for black, because as white tries to get their pieces into play, we make an exchange in the middle, getting that white pawn off the board, and then we move our queen in as well. The black queen both threatening the white queen and giving a check on white's king. We're forcing a queen trade. And you know how they say a king in the center is bad in the opening? Well, that's only the case when the queens are on the board. And here, black has gotten real use of the early Bon Cloud, with the king being nicely placed in the middle, and also for the rook to be able to get into the center of the board, into the action right away. But white has a solution to this. So in order to prevent black from having a good Bon Cloud, we need to do the Bon Cloud ourselves. White goes king up, and black still...
So it just shows how inexperienced I am in this position, because king d2 and then maybe g3 bishop g2 later on to develop the bishop will be the solution.
Still has to recapture the bishop, so the black king goes up as well. It's a double Bon Cloud in the opening, played by world championship level players. This was tried in a game with Vladimir Kramnik, the man who defeated Kasparov when he was playing against Boris Gelfand, who once challenged Vishwanathan Anand for the world title. And Kramnik here demonstrated that he was able to get an advantage with his very surprising Bon Cloud move by playing pawn out to g3. The king is blocking for the bishop. That's one of the main disadvantages of the Bon Cloud. But Kramnik figured out that by getting the bishop out on the right-hand side, we can have this piece threatening down that long diagonal towards black's position. And while black was trying to move the knight and chase after the queen found a fairly decent square to sit. After being chased around first by black's knight, then by black's rook, the queen got to this f4 square. And what was crucial there is that we're now able to move the knight up, supported by the queen, on the next move. Black tried to develop the bishop, and the knight came into the middle, with the white's queen pointing towards the black king position. But more importantly, having this amazing bishop in its fianchetto position, pointing down towards black's queen side. So this was the game between Kramnik and Gelfand. In this position, Kramnik had managed to get an opening advantage.
I wonder what year that game was played. Like, are we talking 2010s or 20s? It seems like a more recent game, if I had to guess.
Realizing a brilliant version of the Bon Cloud, and he went on to win the game. How did you like this double Bon Cloud? Have you ever seen one been played before? Leave your comments below, and make sure to check out more in our video series about Bon Clouds that's actually...
See, I don't even count this as a Bon Cloud. I think of a Bon Cloud as a mean opening. But this is more like a Slav defense that in the middle game, both kings lost castling rights, whether voluntarily or unintentionally. So I don't know, but let's do the lesson. Black's king isn't entirely safe here. How should white develop with a threat? Well, this seems like a very elementary idea. My instinct is to go here. I think we have to trade. So let's do the Bon Cloud. That's the whole point of this lesson. I already outlined it, but I thought this was the best move. But it's 2007, so yeah, way before Bon Cloud was a thing. That's why I don't consider it a real Bon Cloud. He opens up the diagonal. Okay, nice. Now, let's do some puzzles. I switch to El Clasico mode. How do you switch to back to normal? There's got to be a way. Better research it on. Better research it on like AI. 1 second. Code turn on. Gear icon, toggle off collect puzzle points. Okay, so hey. Okay, there we go. So what we need to do is, yeah, this is very basic actually. This also seems pretty straightforward. Yeah. Why are these puzzles rated so low? It's my puzzle rating. 2054? I thought I had like a 3000 puzzle rating. This is the last 30 days. Anywho, let's play one more game. With our tactically alert minds and theoretically upgraded. Okay, so let's try to get the Tal Gambit against these kind of Grand Prix setups. We want to induce knight c3 so we can develop the bishop. Can't do that, so we'll go bishop f5, developing it outside the pawn chain, getting a French defense on steroids. Queen b6 to come. Okay. Now I think, do we reroute? Yeah, I think so. And I think we're up the pawn out of the opening. Don't see a way for white to stop that. Oh, okay. Well, this is pretty bad for now. So here, yeah, let's just start by going here. Now he's bomb clouding. So our bomb cloud theory is already paid off. Yeah. Let's go queen c7. Queen c7, rook d8. Or knight g6, knight f5, and then d4, maybe rook d8 first. Yeah. I can also already think about sacrificing this knight. If, for example, let's go here first. There we go. Quite happy with this now. And go. So knight takes. It's defended 3 times and attacked twice, so I think. Huh. We might Bonk Cloud our own king, just for fun. We need to get another attacker on this thing. Could have also alternatively gone for h5. Pretty complicated position. I like playing my closed cramp style. I think I'm going to Bonk Cloud next move. But it's not a real Bonk Cloud. It's just moving the king to safety in the middle game. But you do see how moves can influence you. Or I mean lessons can influence you. Okay. The immediacy with which a simple lesson can influence you. Now, tempted to actually go here first, just throw in a little intermezzo. Oh, that's very bad, very bad. Because I think we get double check now. Let's see. here, here. I think I actually have to go back here first, just to resolve one issue. Now that that issue is resolved, we can renew that thread. The issue of my knight hanging and my bishop hanging. If I try to play something like this, for example, winning the queen, knight takes, rook takes, then let's say pawn takes, I have to capture back, then the king, so I lose. Huh. It does find something annoying. Okay, well, this looks very promising. Very promising. It's hard to explain everything so quickly, but let's say queen here, that queen e1 fails to knight f3, forking. This is also terrible because of this move. Now we just gotta find some kind of fork. What about here? No. What about here? And logical. What about here to start? That's not good. Now I'm starting to look into queen sacrifices just to simplify this position down. 2 rooks versus a bishop and 1 rook. Sure. I think that is actually a prudent move. There's also no way to cover this pawn. Okay. So what do I do here? I think we just take this pawn. Go here next. Here. Skewering this pawn and this bishop, so okay, that's fine. If you want to trade off, then here. Again, this square is covered. Our rook gains tremendous activity. And here. And this move coming next. Okay, game review. I was reading something about, or watching an interview, Peter Lecco, about when Bobby Fischer stayed with him in 1998. And he said Bobby Fischer's core belief, his inescapable virtues, was that no matter how tired you are, you must always play the best moves. So yeah, that French defense on steroids is already 0.7 for black on move 8 or 6. Now it's 1.6 on move 8. So yeah, 2.4. The bomb cloud, not advisable. You know what? The funny thing is, I felt like that move wasn't the correct path of attack, but also, what about here? Now my bishop's trapped, right? So, I don't know. I don't know how to follow that up. I thought this was fine, but we're actually losing now. Bomb clouding is so bad. Huh. Here? Why here? Oh, that's why. Very fair. I didn't see that in the game.